They put it on the ice, they take the citrus, and they check it from different angles.
Okay, hello everyone. I can only see Shmuel, so I'm imagining all the other people with us today. Thank you so much for taking time to gather here and welcome our new Director of Christian Friends of Israel Communities. Congratulations, Shmuel. Really happy to be able to work with you and do as much as we can to help the whole organization. We do understand that Sandra will be in the backdrop still, so we're looking forward to seeing her have her finger in the pie a little, and we wish you all the very best. We're really happy. Well, I know I'm very happy. I've met you. I've heard your heart, and I hope that it will be a really good relationship as we go along the way. And mostly from Australia, but I believe there's other representatives. I can't see Pam Cooper. Are you there, Pam? Can you see Pam, Shmuel?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, good. Hi,
Hello.
Pam. So Pam is, we say goodbye to Joy Hayland also. She has stepped aside from being the representative in Australia for Christian Friends of Israel, and we are welcoming Pam. Oh, there you are. Good.
She's
good.
here.
Yes, and she's still going to be a very strong support in the background as well, and we really appreciate that. But Pam, all the best to you. Welcome. And so Shmuel, it's all up to you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Actually, she's also in Israel. She's blessed.
Yes.
You see, she has like a special light on her face because she's in Israel.
Yeah, that's right.
and I'm in Jerusalem right now, which is also exciting today.
Oh,
and
good.
Today we are in the days between Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, the day of awe, you call it in English. And these 10 days, the 10 days between, called Aseret Yemei Tshuva, the 10th day of repentance. And these are days that usually, I would say, we're going through the process of connecting between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and trying really to showcase the best of our abilities of connecting to God. And it's interesting because, only in that 10 days? No, but once a year, and we're trying to stop everything and trying to stop the madness of the regular days and really try to connect. So I'll share with you an insight that I actually wrote in this month's letter. You're going to receive it soon, but I'm going to start with this introduction. The CEO of Netflix. You have Netflix in Australia. You all know what's Netflix, right? The streaming, the TV streaming software. Of course, it's a big hit. Maybe with youngers, is more that they binge watch. They watch and they don't finish. They watch and they watch and they watch. So once in 2005, it was actually that the CEO of Netflix was asked, "Who is your biggest competitive? If you are in a competition just to make your business work, who is your biggest enemy?" You would think that it would answer Amazon, HBO, maybe YouTube, regular TV channels. The Netflix CEO said, a very interesting insight, "My biggest enemy, the competition I have, is against sleeping." How is it so? It says, when I'm bringing a TV program to the people, I know they're going to watch it. And I know that the only thing that's going to stop them from watching is that they want to fall asleep and they want to go to bed. And I don't want them to go to bed. I want them to continue to binge watch to the night. And we all been there. You see something, you don't stop. You need to go to bed. It's important for you to go to sleep. You continue to watch, So we went to the developers of Netflix and it challenged them with this problem. What do? We have this sleeping component and we want to give them more and more to brainwash the people. So the developers, the brilliant people of Netflix, developed something we take for granted. If you've ever used Netflix, you know that when you finish an episode, you just continue to the next one. You never stop. If you ever watch Netflix, you know that you don't need to watch another episode. It's going to run to the next one and the next one and the next one forevermore. And this feature was brought by the developers of Netflix, as we said, to combat sleeping. And I thought to use this into the understanding of the days that we have today. In the days of awe, in the days of repentance, we need to move the feature of moving to the next episode. We need to stop. We need to reflect. We don't need to automatically go to the next round and just be there, wanting to stop, but we cannot because the next episode starts. And that's exactly the mode of these days. We are trying to reflect about the days, and I want to say that Rosh Hashanah was amazing, and we're waiting for Yom Kippur. And Israel is under the feeling of the holiday. If you visit Israel now, you know that there's a lot more traffic on the roads, and people are shopping and buying, and people are hosting. And there's, after Yom Kippur, of course, it's going to be the holiday of Sukkot. And there's going to be many, many people traveling, building, going. And the other fact that happens in Israel right now, and of course, this is the Israel update, is that you surely understand and know by now that we are in the midst of a very challenging time with our inner politics. And I want to say that I'm sure Sandra spoke about it in the past. I know for a fact I spoke about it in the past. I gave you my perspective about it. But I think that what happened in the last 24 hours went a little bit to the extreme. If you're not updated on the news, I will share that Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu landed yesterday in the USA after a lot of waiting, that it was not accepted or welcome to come by President Biden, which is another problem. He was eventually invited to speak in the UN. Yesterday, he went to visit in California and Tesla. Never mind. What happens is that in the midst of the visit, they have many, many Israelis who go and demonstrate and protest wherever he goes. Now, it's okay to protest. We know we're against it. We know even if we disagree, part of democracy, you can do whatever you want. But I think they went to the extreme with two, I would say, huge demonstrations. Number one, they screened, Google it after that, they screened his face behind bars on the famous, notorious Alcatraz prison in San Francisco. So they went to the ocean, very talented, and like they're very creative. They went on a boat with this very massive projector, and on the walls of Alcatraz, on the actual walls of the prison, you see his face. He's going to jail. He's a criminal, whatever. And in the UN, in New York, what he's supposed to talk today, huge projectors on the big screens and on the big walls of the building. Prime Minister, or referring to the Prime Minister, Crime Minister, don't listen to what this liar has to say. Now, let's talk about democracy for a second and talk about the right to speech. All good and all correct. But I think where they cross the line is with a very delicate insight that says as follows. Prime Minister Netanyahu, even if you dislike him, even if you think he's the worst thing that happens to the people, of Israel, even if you think he is destroying the land, he is still, after all, he is representing the people of Israel and the land of Israel. When you go to the UN, you're going to speak about the Iran regime, and you're going to talk about the Hezbollah, and you're going to talk about the Hamas. And Biden and him is going to speak about how do we need more weapons and how we can help Israel with the ongoing mission of Iran to destroy Israel. And you are going against it? And you are screaming, don't listen to this guy, he's a liar? It's absurd. This is a general problem that I think people don't get it. It's okay to demonstrate and to go against the person. And it's okay to go against his policies. It is not okay to go against the Israel insights, the Israel needs, the Israel perspective. And what happens in New York right now and in California, we see people basically erasing the power of the prime minister. So before he left, he was boarding his flight, and there was a short a press release where he talked about what happens now, how people demonstrate and how people are working together with the Hamas and with Iran against the people of Israel. And people went ballistic on him. You're saying that the demonstrators go against Israel like Iran or like the Hezbollah or like Hamas. So we had to clarify. And I'll say this very simple. Maybe it's going to be helpful to clarify it. Every time an Israeli prime minister goes to the UN, they will have demonstrations. Every time an Israeli prime minister goes to the UN, they will have demonstrations against the policies of Netanyahu. Any given time he's going to speak. When you are working with them, when you're standing on those branches outside of the UN, you are giving them the power. The way it looks is as follows. When you have an Iranian or a Palestinian that shouts against Prime Minister Netanyahu and against Israel, and you have Israelis standing alongside and saying the same thing, yes, it's bad, Israel is corrupted, all of those things make Israel in the place that matters a lot. I wouldn't say the most, but a lot to Israel vulnerable. And we need to face that. We need to face the understanding that we are dealing now with people that I would be very severe in saying they are willing to destroy Israel's perspective in the midst of ruining Bibi's regime. It's difficult to say that, but they get interviewed, and we talked about it many times. And you ask the people, do you understand it damages Israel? Do you understand how bad it looks to the world? And you are the world, right? Our Christian friends around the world, you look at this, and surely you think to yourself, what's going on? If so many people went so far to demonstrate, maybe they are right. Now you came today that I'm going to give you the other side of the story. How many people stop there and say, but then you saw demonstrations. Israelis are demonstrating against Bibi Netanyahu. Maybe they're right. Maybe he's corrupted. Maybe he's doing bad things to Israel. They don't know about how the court case does not go well. And Bibi Netanyahu is getting amazing. It's not ending yet. But the court says to the lawyers against him, you need to redefine what you're blaming it for, because what you came with bribe, it needs to be erased. They don't know that. And what you see people, standing on the Alcatraz prison, you think this guy is a criminal. These people are calling him prime minister. All of this is a very painful moment for the people of Israel, because even in the hardest time, when we disagreed, and we always disagree, right? You get two Jews together, you get three opinions. That's us. We like to argue. We like to. Have you ever thought about it? If you ever get the chance to open or to read or to listen to a Talmud lesson, you open the Talmud, it's all about debates. He said this and he argues that. He wanted to say this, but what about that? This is one of our definitions. That's how we learn, how we develop. We are asking questions, right? That's the way we answer any question. You ask us a question, we answer you with a question. That's us. What can we do? We can argue, and we respect that. And throughout the years, even when we thought that the prime ministers did bad things to the people of Israel, we still respected that and understood this is a democracy. The people of Israel voted for this guy, and right now, at this moment, he represents not himself. He represents the nation. And unfortunately, this line was crossed. And at this moment, at this time, we are in a situation where the people around the world look at those demonstrates and they understand how they're bringing Israel down and making Bibi Netanyahu's claim tomorrow, today, at the UN. He's a liar. He's a criminal. And that's awful. My heart is really painful here, to the extent that yesterday, and listen, there's a lot of things that I disagree with Netanyahu. Yesterday, he had a meeting with Elon Musk from Tesla. Elon Musk, the richest person, maybe in the top 3, genius, really a real genius. So I posted a photo of both of them sitting, and I wrote, one of the most brilliant minds of this world, and Elon Musk. Of course, referring to Bibi Netanyahu as the brilliant guy. I'm literally in tears to see our prime minister stands there in front of all the offices and is being ashamed by his own people. That is something that I had to start with, because it really rips my heart. We can argue, we can do anything here. Every week in Israel, demonstrations, no problem. Do it. Show your interest. But you need to understand that when this guy represents the nation, when you're going against them, you are going against the nation. And that is something you do not do. So that's number one. Actually, that's number two, because we started with the high holidays and just stopping and reflecting. Another thing that happens, and I'm not sure how much hit it gets in the world. If you saw my last post of the community of the month, you might saw it. So usually every month I go to another community, I visit the community, and I show the way they live, right? This is the house, this is the playground, look what they have. Share a little bit of the stories that happens in the area. And I get so many responses about it, because it's great to see it with your eyes. You see it now in Australia. When is going to be the next time you're going to come to Israel? You see with your eyes how a community looks like. That's what I do every month. It's called the Community of the Month video. But this month, I'm going to the first thing. I had to stop. We're not going to move to the next episode. I have to stop. I won't film another Community of the Month. And the reason is because I did not feel this in a long time. Maybe Pam is in Israel now, Joy is in Israel, Marion is in Israel. Maybe you can also refer to this, that the amount of attacks and attempts to attack is crazy. Only yesterday, 4 different places in Judea and Samaria are across the map, all over the place. And that's the number you need to remember. From the beginning of January, which is only 9 months, we have 36 casualties killed in terror attack in Israel. The vast majority in Judea and Samaria. I'm going to mention just a few from a long list, people that you might remember. In Passover, there was the D family, the 2 lovely girls with their mother who were murdered in the Jordan Valley. You remember maybe the 2 brothers that were driven in an attack in Jerusalem. 2 young brothers, Pili family. A week after, in Chawara, 2 brothers as well, the Yaniv family. 3 pairs of siblings in 2.5 weeks. It continued and it continued with a terror attack in Ma'ale Adumim and a terror attack in Chawara when a father and son were murdered. And it was happening on the way to Hebron, where a mother, sad story, she waited for children for 10 years. 10 years. She had 1 daughter. This daughter witnessed her mother murdered in front of her eyes next to Hebron. 36 casualties in a time that we feel inner pressure from Israel, the pressure that talks about what happened from our enemies abroad. Altogether, not the best time. The feeling is really strong. The feeling is really heavy. And the notion that we need to deal with this and we have the high holidays brings together another perspective. We know for a fact, and I'm sad to say, the 4 attempts that happened yesterday, they're no mistake. It's not just an attempt that happened every day and here and there. We know for a fact that before the big holidays, our enemies is trying to make us feel miserable. The last attack that happened in Passover, they are working their way into making our holidays miserable. They want us to stop traveling. There's vacation and kids go and they go out and we go to places. They want us not to go, to feel intimidated. And I will share with you something. I said it many times. If you heard any of my talks, you know that my wife was born and raised in Samaria. Her mother established her community, and she moved to a community in Samaria when she was less than 10. So she grew up in Samaria. And she went through the Intifada, the first and the second. She brought children there, and she lived all her life here. And a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, a family wedding happened in the tomb of the patriarchs in Hebron. In Me'arat HaMachpelah, in the actual cave, you need to be very well connected to get permission to get married there. There was a family wedding there. And my mother-in-law, who lived all her life there, said, I'm afraid to go. I don't want to travel now to Hebron. It was after a couple of days after the attack that happened there with the lady who died. She did not want to drive there. That's exactly the point, and that's exactly the mission of our enemy. They want us to stop. They want us to finish our plan and not to come to visit in the area. And when I saw my mother-in-law reacting this way, I said, enough is enough. I decided to do the first video and to change it into this story. And I said, we need to talk about it. It needs to be an open conversation. It needs to be something that's on the table. How can we deal with that? So having said so, we had the high holidays, we had the politics inner and out, and we had the story of what happens with the security in Judea and Samaria, which is not that great. How can we finish with a better perspective of what happens? So, maybe that's a good time of the year to talk about the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. And that is my personal perspective. You don't need to take it, but it was one of the debates of my life. A couple of days from now, we're going to have the day of Yom Kippur, where we're going to fast for 25 hours. There are 5 things that are not allowed there. You're not allowed to wear leather. You're not allowed to shower. You're not allowed to have intimate relationship. You're not allowed to drink, to eat, to put a perfume or cosmetics on you. You basically need to stop dealing with the exterior, with your body, and you need to really interconnect with your inner soul, with the divine. A couple of days later, 4 days later, we celebrate Sukkot. So, everybody knows what's a Sukkah? Sukkot, right, is those small huts that we celebrate when people left Egypt. They lived in those small huts. So that's what we do. We leave our home and we build this hut. And we dwell there for 7 days. We eat there, we sleep there, we do everything there. That's my favorite holiday. Can you ask for a favorite holiday? That's my favorite holiday. Why? Because it's awesome. You're going out, your family, friends, we're sitting. It's just a great time. But just before that, I skipped one part. There is a story that happens just between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. Is that we need to search for the 4 species. Now you need to help me here with English. We have this long palm tree closed called alulav, right? We have a small citrus fruit. It's called an etrog, right? We have, how do you call it? Like, who can help me? What the 2 last ones?
Myrtle.
Myrtle. Yes, that's the one. Good. And the 4th one?
You said palm, myrtle.
Palm, citrus, myrtle, and willow. Guys, you need to be more focused here. Come on. So you take these 4 species and you shake them. Honestly, it's an interesting insight. You go and you see people walking with this weird flower basket on the road. Everywhere they go, they put it in a box. And it's nice. Great ritual. Maybe we're going to talk about it in length at another point. There's a lot of things about it. Of course, it's like it needs to be clarified. But something happened in the process of purchasing them. If you're in Israel, I recommend try to go and search, ask around, where do you get those 4 species? Did anybody here visited where they buy those 4 species? No? You should. Remember, make a note. Between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, search for the 4 species market, and you will find something amazing.
Opposite from Mehane Yehuda in Yerushalayim, you can get it.
You can get it in Machane Yehuda, but it's not the biggest market. The biggest market will be inside the ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods. And that's what you will see. You will see merchants selling the four species, and you will see people hand picking one by one. What do I mean? Every species has different laws of what exactly it needs to look like. For example, the citrus needs to be without any blemish, without any holes, no black dots, no missing parts. It needs to be in a nice shape. It needs to be in a nice shape. The only thing that we need to do in a nice shape, it's the etrog. It's this citrus. So what will you see? Honestly, that's something you need to see. People are using like a thing that you use for diamonds. The ladies know what I'm talking about, right? So you see, like it's like
a magnifying,
a magnifying. But for diamonds, they put it on the eyes. They take the citrus and they check it from different angles. If you ever fall upon a movie called Ushpizin on YouTube, you will see it. It's a beautiful movie, and you saw it, Marian? It's a great movie exactly about this. I'm gonna do a spoiler without a spoiler.
Yeah.
There's a guy who has nothing before the holidays, and he goes to check for those citruses for this game, and he sees one that is amazing, beautiful. They call it the diamond. And of course, he has no money whatsoever. It's not relevant for him. So he would purchase a simple one. But somebody, a couple of hours before the holiday starts, leaves under his door an envelope filled with $1,000. Now, bear in mind, he doesn't have money to feed his children. And you see this guy, crazy, spends half of it on the citrus. Now, from this moment, it goes downhill. I'm not going to do the spoiler. You need to see it. But it's a brilliant movie. So you see a person like checking for the citrus. Then you have this palm tree. It needs to be straight. So you see people taking it and checking exactly if they go to a certain angle because it needs to be straight. And the myrtle as well needs to check that you have 3 coming from each point. Madness! And the willow, by the way, is the most simple one. You just need to have some leaves on it. When I was 22, I went to be a seller in one of those markets. It's like 3 days, 4 days of work. It's a great thing. You just need to know the laws. You get paid well. And I experienced from firsthand how people are spending time, hours, to get the best of the best. Now, it says something a lot about you. When you came to do something and you're just picking the first one, what does it mean? When you picking flowers to your wife, I'm going to say it to the guys here. If you get to the store and say, just give me the cheapest thing, okay, it's nice, but come on. You want to really handpick something that you will love. I don't need to give an example about shopping to the ladies because they surely understand how you need to choose the good one, the nicest one. But then one kid came to me and he checked my citrus. I had many. And he saw one that he really liked. And he asked me, how much is it? I told him it's like $50. And he began to cry. Why are you crying? I asked him. He says, because I cannot afford it. I have $30. I don't have $50. Wow. Amazing. You're so connected and you're so devoted. You're crying. I gave him a discount. I paid for it. Just take it. But then I arrived home and I thought to myself, really? That's what we're doing? We are criticizing God's fruit of the land? Think about it. You have great citruses here, great flowers, great branches, and you are standing there and you're checking them. And you comment them, they're not so nice, they're not so good, maybe this one, maybe the other. You are criticizing God's flower. You are criticizing God's creation. I felt that's wrong. And I went to my rabbi with this. And I told him and I shared with him. I went to this market and I was a seller and I saw people choosing the best of the best. But what does it mean when you don't choose one of them? God's fruit are not nice enough for you. My rabbi gave me a brilliant answer. He said, you know who can choose and criticize the fruits? Only the people that went through 40 days of criticizing themselves, checking themselves. If you don't have any black dots, if you don't have any missing parts, if you are straight like a palm, if you did all the necessary checkup on yourself as you do after the process of repentance and prayer and fasting, 40 days, because we started from the month of Elul, only then, after the fasting days of 25 hours of Yom Kippur, you sitting with yourself and you're saying, you know what? I went through this process of cleaning myself. Now I want the cleanest fruit. Now I want to have the nicest leaf. That's something that only someone who went through the process of inner reflection can understand. I want to connect it to the first thing I said. In the days of awe, we have an opportunity to stop. Stop the binge watching. Don't jump to the next episode. Try to reflect on what we're doing here and how we're doing it. In the midst of living life, there's so many things to do. You know, I'm a bit younger than you. You remember what it was with kids and work and job and salaries, and everything is going really fast till the point you don't stop to reflect. You never stop. You go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, it's like a machine. And we are vowed to stop. We are vowed to stop and reflect and to consider, what are we doing here? What's our job? What's our task? Where do we need to go next? Marion started with the fact that I was blessed to be chosen, the chosen one, to replace Sandra. So Sandra is still going to be part of CFOIC, but I'm going to be the director of the office, basically, doing all the hard things, the black work, taking, cleaning, fixing things, and it's okay. That's a blessing as well. I really think that coming and stepping to this new position and was a great opportunity for me to stop and reflect. I worked for the office for 5 years. And I did a lot. But now I need to stop and reflect that if I got the privilege to take CFOIC to the next step, how can we do it? I'm sitting right now in Jerusalem, I told you. I just finished now a meeting with a tour company. It brings more groups to Israel. How can we connect to more groups? How can we make Judea and Samaria a must stop in the routine of tours? How many tours are coming to Israel and they never stop to Judea and Samaria? You are members of CFOIC, you've been here, or you're gonna be here. But you know how many groups come and it's not even on their map? You just cut this huge chunk of Judea and Samaria and it's not part of their system. They took part of Israel. This is not going to be part of the story. It's absurd. So that's number one. How can we bring more groups to Israel? Number two, I just mentioned how younger people never stop. The flip side of never stopping is that the social media outlets are trying to push theories to their mind. Younger generations want to accept more, and the platforms are trying to give them more. We need to be aware of that. And while Zoom and one-on-one meetings and long conversations can work for some, maybe the older generation that was in the atmosphere of listening, going deeper for more than 5 minutes, we also need also to cater to the younger generation with social media. They need to know more about Israel. And I'm sure that many of you know that while you are connected to Israel, while you see Israel as a pinnacle point, your children and your grandchildren, many of them might be unnecessarily connected to the land. It's wide. It spreads. It's not only there, it's here, it's everywhere. The younger generations are less interested. We need to do something about it. And number three, of course, is we do not need to stop our biggest aim. The biggest aim is how to support and how to help the settlers of Judea and Samaria. I love the word settler. Sometimes you don't like to use it. I love the word. You want to call them pioneers, pioneers. But this is something that we shouldn't stop doing. How we can do more, how can we support more, how we can help more. So in that sense, Pam, maybe you can share a couple of words about my upcoming, with the help of God, upcoming trip to Australia.
I could. I'm a little bit put on the spot because I'm not quite ready. But yes, we've been asking. I've started drafting some emails to people asking about if they're available in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth. We're particularly interested in seeing if we can gather some pastors together and have Shmuel talk to a group of pastors, ask them for a morning tea to come and listen to you. I've got a few other ideas. Even now as you're speaking, we could engage some communication to some youth pastors and actually explain to them the things that are happening in the land. Would they be interested to see some videos or whatever? So my mind is running with a lot of ideas, but yes, we've started. And so if you can help in any way, please let me know. If you're interested in your area or you know people in your area, please contact me. That'll be excellent.
We have, thank you, Pam. We have some time for questions. We have a couple of minutes left, maybe something that you have specific. Please open the mic and ask. Anything else? Marian?
Okay, Shmuel. Really appreciated your insight. We really do need to hear from our dear friends from Christian Friends of Israel, how you see this particularly unrest in the government system and and how you see it all, because sadly most of our information comes through the widespread media companies, and who can really trust truth coming through them anymore? That's a bit tough. But anyway, we have a source to people right on the spot who we do trust. And thank you for that insight. And also hearing your heart for what you just said, how you can even get more exposure through connecting with tour groups coming in. And I love the idea, Pam, too, about personally inviting pastors to come together to meet Shmuel. And I hope everyone listening will take that to heart, take it to prayer, and in your own area, see how you can come up with a few responses and get back to Pam. So Shmuel, thank you for taking the time today. At any time you want to give us a call, we're always here and ready to just give you support, encouragement along the way, and certainly our prayers. You know, we understand the horrors that are going on here, and we're just with you in prayer for that these things will be abated sooner rather than later. Yeah. Thank you for giving us your time today. Really lots of love, and talk again soon. Thanks, Pam. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you so much, everybody.
Marianne, I just put my email in the chat.
Yeah,
So
good.
So if anyone wants to take my email, that would be perfect.
Wonderful.
And
yeah, you
absolutely
too.
lovely to meet everybody today.
Everybody, yes. Thank you.
Hi, Gina. How are you?
Good, thank you. I just want to encourage everyone. What we do in Inverness in Scotland is we go out with a stall on the high street and speak up for Israel. We have the Israeli flags up, and it's a great opportunity to meet people that wouldn't normally come and listen to us. So I really encourage, yes, you get some verbal abuse and people shouting at us, but it's worth it. And we get people coming saying, yes, thank you, and people in the middle. So I really encourage you to go out with the stall. It's wonderful. I love it.
Praise God.
And yeah.
Thank you. It sounds amazing. Yeah.
When is there going to be another trip to Israel?
Yeah.
We need to work on it, and I'm gonna let you on a secret. My goal is that the next trip is going to be more focused in Judea and Samaria. I want to really go deep inside the biblical heartland. For people who saw everything, I'm telling you, there are a lot of things that they did not see in Judea and Samaria. I'm going to work on it, and hopefully it's going to be in 2024 at some point. It's not going to be in November, unfortunately. We do have a feast tour coming on October 2nd, the second day of Sukkot. Happy to say that we have already like 14 to 15 people that signed in. If you have any people in Israel that are looking to see a day in Samaria, let them go to our website. We're going to close the registration tomorrow, I want to say, and we're going to have a great day in Samaria.